Hey guys, welcome to TST Garage. I'm Bart, and today I will be wrenching on this Kawasaki ZX-4RR over here. Recently I had a chance to take this bike to the track, and immediately, first thing I noticed once I took it out was that the levers, the controls on this bike, were not adequate for my expectations. So typically what I do in that scenario is, first stop is removing the OEM levers and replacing them with these nice CNC machined EVOS levers from Womet-Tech, our partner out of Europe. These are billet aluminum, black anodized. They have a nice adjuster that will adjust the spacing between the bar and the lever for you. They do come in different adjustment levels than the OEM lever, and the actual lever body is a different shape. It does feel a little bit more ergonomically pleasing for myself when I'm going real fast and hard at the track. I like to use only 2 fingers on my clutch, 1 finger on the brake. These do a really great job of giving me the right feel that I enjoy while going hard at the track. So this video will be the installation instruction for mounting these here Womet-Tech levers on this bike. Follow along, let's get started. In step 1 on the clutch side, we will loosen the adjuster lock nut. This one came off by hand. If it's too tight, you can use some channel locks or pliers. After we loosen it, we can move the barrel in, rotate it in. It's just a regular right hand thread. All right, we'll work with that later. I'll take a 5mm Allen, unlock the perch from the bar. It will be necessary to rotate it up for proper access to the fastener below it. Now with the perch loose, you can rotate up, and we'll focus on this connector here. It does have a locking mechanism. If you push this tab upwards, that unlocks it from its interference window. And then I will rotate it down a little bit to create some slack. This withdraws, and now we have access here. Before we get full access in there, let's align our cable slots here. See if we could get this cable out. No, we'll have to remove this switch body first. That is done using a Phillips screwdriver. There are 2 screws here and here. We will remove those. When the switch is removed, we now have access to this 10mm nut. I'll grab a 10mm socket and remove this nut. Nut comes off, and we can push the pivot bolt up towards the top. Grab it, take it out. Now we can remove the lever. As the lever comes out, we will now be able to clear the cable through the cable slot. Now we have our lever off. This prematurely came out. Rotate it about the cable. Put it into the clearance zone here for the cable to come out, and that's pretty much it. We'll need to extract this spacer. Now be careful, when you push this through, it unlocks the 2 halves of the lever body and adjuster from each other, so they are spring loaded. It may fly, so I like to hold it tight as I remove that spacer. Once that comes out, I'll retain the spacer. There is a little relief inside it that goes towards the bottom of the lever. We'll grab our new lever and just check fit here. It looks really nice. I'm going to grab a towel and take off any of the grime and old grease off this part. And then I'm going to use new grease to grease my bearing surfaces. What I'm using here is a synthetic bearing grease. It's medium thickness, any sort of grease that has good prevention against washout is a good type of grease. A lot of times I get questions on what type of grease I use. It's basically any automotive bearing grease that you can get your hands on. Thick is good, medium's good. I want to use thin. All right, once again, plop this guy in here. Clean off any excess grease mess, any grease that remains on surfaces that are not meant for bearing the loads of the rotation will just attract grime. You don't want that. All right, we'll flip it over, place it in the slit, rotate it this way, rotate the entire lever, and back into the adjuster barrel. All right, so I've got my cable through the adjuster, and now for ease of installation of the lever inside the perch, I'm going to move the perch inboard as far as it'll go. That'll give me some clearance here. Once it's in here, I'm going to grab the pivot bolt, get it in through the top. The pivot bolt has a hexagonal shape on the head, and there is a hexagonal relief or well, counterbore in the perch body here, so that will register the bolt head and we don't have to worry about holding it. Grab the nut, spin that on, and then go ahead and tighten it. All right, we don't want to over tighten this. This is a pressure cast piece. The lever perch is actually a pressure cast piece. If you over tighten it, it could get damaged. Now we do want to make sure that it's all the way against the stop, and we want to test for any sort of obstruction to the movement. It's looking pretty good here. I'm going to spin the barrel out just a little bit. We'll get back to that towards the end of the installation. Let's go ahead and rotate it up and get our reed switch. Make sure that we get it in the correct orientation. There we go. This has a registration pin that fits into this little hole on the perch. Have to make sure that we depress the reed switch button to fit underneath the surface of the lever. And now we'll have to get the screws in. Go ahead and connect the reed switch connector back in. That requires that the perch gets rotated back towards its home location. Now, let's go ahead and adjust this setup back to where it was. I did have a mark here between the bar and my perch where the perch splits into two pieces. You can help yourself along before you start by putting a mark there, or you can adjust it at this point. So with this lever set, the vertex of these two lines coming together can potentially make interference with the switch body. So if you are experiencing this interference, I would suggest you go outboard a little bit, and that will clear it. And this is on the lowest, closest setting. If you're not going to use it on that setting, there is no consideration necessary for that particular nuance. All right. I can go ahead and tighten this down. The last part of the process is to adjust your clutch tension. So right now I don't have too much play. Let's see what happens if when I go through the range of the steering deflection. I anything that's a little bit too tight. I like to have some slack. You don't want the cable tightening up on you as you turn your bike. So you want just a tiny little bit of play at ultimate deflections and in the center. We're good there. I don't like to rely on finger strength for this adjuster, so I do use channel locks to lock it down. That's good for me. Installation's complete on this side. We have several levels of adjustment here. Changes the bar to lever distance. We'll play with that towards the end after we install the brake side, and we'll get both sides set up for us. All right, on the right side, we're gonna do the brake now. The good news is the brake is much easier than the clutch side, only requiring a flathead and a box or open-ended 10mm wrench. I'm going to crack the nut loose. The nut is located here on the bottom, right below this pivot bolt. Once you crack that loose, it comes off by hand. Then we grab our flathead screwdriver and spin this out. Once the bearing portion of this pivot bolt clears and the thread comes out of the bottom, we'll continue just spinning in place. Grab the lever, wiggle it just a little bit, and pull the pivot bolt out. Lever comes off, and we'll have to grease this up. I don't like to leave these things dry. This came dry from the factory. If yours is dry, you just apply some grease. If yours came with grease, I would recommend removing old grease and grime first and then greasing it. On the way back in, we are going to respect the sequence. This surface has to press this button in before we align the pivot hole with the pivot bolt location. So let's get that situated. Make sure that button is engaged first. And then get that pivot bolt through. Once it bottoms on the threads, I use my flathead screwdriver, start that thread, and then just get it all the way to bottom out. I'm gonna clean up the excess grease here. Don't want to attract a bunch of grime. Final part here will be the replacement of the lock nut. It goes on by hand to bottom, and then I'm gonna tighten it up while I hold the pivot bolt, taking care not to loosen the pivot bolt. All right, that's pretty much it. Now, I did talk about final adjustment of the levers. So you can see on the lowest setting, it does come pretty close to my knuckles. In fact, it makes contact here. So for my hands, I have pretty large hands. I typically run these pretty high up. Probably the last setting gives me the most amount of travel for people with smaller hands or people that use more than 1 or 2 fingers. Could be customized to whatever the feel desired is. Same goes for the left side. On the clutch side, you just want to make sure that it is set up for most practicality for you. Usually when I have a new model that I'm working with, I will set it up, go take a very mild ride, and then reset it per what I feel while I ride. All right, once I figure out my adjustment and it's set on both sides, job's done and the bike's ready to go. All right, guys, as you just witnessed, it took me about 10 minutes to change these controls here. Now I have proper feeling hand controls up at the bars. I really like them. They also look the biz. If you don't like the black and red look, we do have different anodized color adjusters that you can purchase and swap. We do have a separate video illustrating how to make the adjustment swap. So look for that on our YouTube channel or our website in the product ad for the adjuster. If you like what you see here, check out tstindustries.com. We have these levers ready to go. We also have a whole host of other parts for this bike and other bikes you may have in your stable. Thank you for watching. Looking forward to hearing comments from you guys, and ride safe. See you later.